Record, and we are going to get started. I am Dr. Naima Burgess out of New York. You know what, one second. Let me mute everybody. Haha. All right, so here we are. So we're going to get started. I'm Dr. Naima. I am out of New York. I own and operate Giving Hope LLC. We provide services for children on the spectrum. We present this Understanding Autism once a month. Last week, we actually had, last month, we had to skip last month, but we are picking back up today. Thank you so much. This happens every first Thursday of the month, 30 minutes. And, you know, we touch on topics that hit home that are not really discussed, and we are going to get started. Here's my PowerPoint. Let me show my screen. Now I can share my screen. I talk to myself a lot. It helps me process things. All right, so do that. You? All right, that's not it. I know how to do this, guys. I know one lady one time was telling me that I need to practice, but I do not do PowerPoints. Promise you I did. There it is, slideshow. Let's go from the beginning. All right, let me move this out of the way. All right, so sexuality and autism, understanding autism with Dr. Naima Burgess. This is module number 6. I hope you guys, if you guys want to tune in to previous recordings, we've had a lot of discussions already. You can reach out to us and we can give you access to them. And next month, we'll be back with a new topic. So sexual development, let me move this out of the way. Sexual development. So we're talking about the teenage years right now. We're talking about the adolescent growing into, you know, they have their hormones, and their hormones begin to rage. They start to experience, any teen, they begin to experience you know, feelings. They begin to grow breasts. They begin to, guys get bigger. This is when they start to outgrow girls. Girls begin to develop more, you know, thighs and behind, and they just become more woman-like. And with that, those body features come the feelings of the sexual feelings being, you know, they might feel, what am I trying to say? Just excited. They might get excited. They may see a guy or girl that they like, and they get butterflies in their stomach. So this is what we are discussing today. So going through the development phases, that's supposed to be phases, there are a lot of changes they're going through within their body. They're trying to understand these feelings of intimacy. So a person on the autism spectrum has a hard time with this in particular. And on top of that, now they're starting to feel attracted. Just because someone is on the spectrum does not mean that they are going to not have these feelings. They are people. They have urges. They will have these urges, and they will have desires and affection for other people. They're learning how to develop and maintain respectful, intimate relationships. And this is something that these babies, and I consider them babies, these young ladies and young men will need your support with. They will need for you to be open with them. So while teens with autism develop the same way, they need some help with building these social connections and understanding them. And they will need you to be explicit with explaining things to them. You will have to break things down in terms of relationships into very small pieces, and help them to connect the dots to really understand and connect information so that they can grasp it. This is a hard topic for a lot of people, sexuality, sexual orientation, especially for a child on the spectrum. Just because a person on the spectrum does not engage with others consistently or has a hard time with engaging with others does not mean that they do not have the desire to connect with other people, does not mean that they do not have a desire to engage in a more intimate relationship with other people. They just don't know how to. And with that comes sexual orientation. They may be heterosexual and they may be attracted to the same sex. So it will be helpful for you to, and important for you to love on them and respect what their desires are. And you know, religion comes into play, and I'm a Christian myself, and it's a very hard topic. It's something that you will have to dissect step by step with them, but you don't want to penalize them and you don't want to frown upon them, because making a connection with people is hard for them. And you don't want to make them go deeper into their shell. So where they are, you have to respect them. You don't have to agree with their orientation, but you can help guide them as to what your beliefs are, but in a non-punitive, non-blaming or shaming way. Understanding the sexual feelings within themselves and others. So we have to break these things down. When you come next to a person that you might be attracted to, some things might be going on in your body, right? These teens are starting to feel this for the first time, and they already have a mishmash going on in terms of socialization and connecting with others. And this intensifies that mishmash. I just came up with that. I never used that before, but I didn't come up with the word, but I use that for this right now for the first time, and it makes sense to me. So it's going to be helpful to help them understand what they're feeling. Putting a platform together where they can express their thoughts. What exactly are your thoughts? What exactly are these sensations? They may not know how to describe it, but you can have them point to where they're feeling a sensation. And you can have different textures of, like when we work on sensory exposing children, babies, toddlers on the spectrum to different sensory items. We put their hands in rice, we put their hands in dry beans, we put their hands in warm water or cold water, and then we use other items that have different textures to see how they can become more used to it and okay with it, or acclimated to it. So the same process, you can have them touch. There is a hand toy that it has pins on it. You put your hand in it. I wish I had it with me, but you put your hand in it, and then the pins stick up, and you can see your hand. If you reach out to me later, if you're interested in seeing it, but I will send you a picture of it. But it has pins in it, and it gives a certain sensation, but you can create the sensation in different textures so that they can touch it with their hands in order to help them pinpoint how to describe the sensation to you. And they begin to engage in certain behaviors as well. So you'll see them like maybe leaning closer to a boy or girl that they're interested in. And later on, not while they're there, but you know, Jessica, I noticed that when Jim came around, you had little googly eyes, and explain what the googly eyes are. Another example could be if they're in a group and they just move closer to someone and you notice that they're moving closer to someone in school. This is a topic that you can discuss with their teachers. If you don't see them interacting with peers outside of school, you can ask, like, do you notice any behaviors? Do you notice them talking about anything? Now, you want to teach them what is appropriate to be open with you, but what is appropriate versus what's not appropriate, because some kids on the spectrum will perseverate on a topic that is explicit, and because they've gotten excitement from some peers, they will continue to use that terminology if you don't feed them the right tools. So expressing these feelings. If not taught properly, your child will be more likely to engage in inappropriate or risky actions or get into unhealthy relationships. So it's important to play out social interactions with them, doing role play. It's so fun, it's so helpful. You can role play with them and you can lead and then switch roles and let them take the lead. Let them take the lead and you will get an idea of how they are making progress in these types of scenarios. And you might feel embarrassed. However, your embarrassment is nowhere near the magnitude of how they're feeling. So try to get comfortable with it. It's better for them to do this with you than for them to be in a situation where they are experiencing it with their peers or someone else and they haven't had the guidance. Go over what happens if they get a yes or a no. What could happen next? Set clear rules about how to do things like asking someone to hang out. So with everything, with people on the spectrum, structure is so important. And they pay attention to details. So you will have to tell them step by step what is to be expected. And you can even create a social story for them, a visual story that explains what happens next, and they will have it to reference. So a scenario would be if they can ask someone if they ask someone if they're busy, what do they say if the person says they're busy? They can ask to reschedule. So if they say no to both, talking about the third time and talking about when people are just being nice, just teaching them what boundaries are, what the boundaries are. Like, you have to set the guidelines for them, and get their input as well. What are they comfortable with? What are they not comfortable with? What do they want to know more about? And how far are they willing to go? Or do they want to go over someone's house or go to the movies with someone? So have this discussion with them. Let there be an ebb and flow. So then it comes to taking it to the next level with relationships and health. You definitely want to let your child or the person that you work with, your client, know that, or a family member, that these relationships are normal and they're a part of life only if that's what they desire. There tends to be peer pressure, and because they want to fit in, they might engage in behaviors that they don't even want to engage in. So letting them know that it's okay to not be a part of that. It's okay to not be in an intimate relationship with someone that, say, they're your girlfriend or boyfriend. You can have strong friendships and a homegirl, a homeboy, a best friend. They do not need to engage in those things to fit in, and have them understand what relationships look like when they are genuine. So peers that are trying to get them to engage in risky behaviors, teach them what those relationships look like. Social stories will be very important, and scenarios, role playing, it's going to be very important. Go through sexual cues with your child. This will help them to build their confidence and keep them safe and prevent them from unintentionally hurting themselves or someone else. So if they are engaging in sexual activities, you definitely want to educate them. You definitely want to know what they are experiencing and be open with your religion. Be open with, you know, your beliefs, and ask them what their beliefs are. But if they are engaging in these behaviors, I had a client years ago. Her mother didn't talk to her about it, and began engaging in unhealthy behaviors with many different guys. And it started in her teenage years because there was a breakdown of communication. Um, and her parents didn't believe that she would engage in these behaviors. It happens. People that are on the spectrum have urges. Even if they're nonverbal, they have sexual urges, just so you know. Autism does not mean that a person is, their body is not capable. It does not mean that they have a disconnect within their body. They definitely have bodily urges. So if they are engaging, teaching them about condoms and other forms of protection, as well as contraceptions, teaching them about STDs, chlamydia, HPV. There are so many things that you will have to create almost a visual book, step by step, to be able to, so that they will have something to reference that is helpful for them, but they definitely understand step by step. So if you can put something together that's step by step, that will be beneficial. And also cleaning their genitals properly, teaching them about that, because in the teenage years, there's perspiration, the young ladies start to menstruate, and teaching them how to clean themselves properly is going to be important, especially for building and maintaining relationships. And then, you know, if they're engaging, explaining to them that consent is key, explaining to them about coercion. Make sure your child understands that consent has to be from both parties. And at any time, they can say no, and no means no. It's very important. And our babies want to fit in, they want to be seen, they want to engage with people. But again, touching on what is a healthy relationship and what do they look like. And if they want to, if you notice that they have a desire to engage in risky behaviors just to get attention, you want to engage them in a community, in different social communities, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, church events, sports, karate, and look for other social connections in order for them to engage with their peers in a healthy and responsible way. And also you can do one-on-ones with parents. So you can reach out to some of their friends and you can meet up with the parent and have mommy time while they hang out with each other. So something like that as well. Protecting your child with autism against sexual abuse means that you will need to explain what a good and bad touch is. You will need to explain that it may be different between different people, and how some people might not want you touching them on the leg, or it is okay for someone not to touch you on your leg if that's not what you like. Our babies have different sensory thresholds, and sometimes it can be very intense for them, and you want to talk about it and be open. Just open the lines of communication about everything, and never turn them away because it will make them shy away from opening up to you. And also explain coercion. So digging deeper with giving hope, how we can help, we can teach you step by step in understanding the levels of socialization and emotional reception, as well as expression. Designing a step-by-step plan for socialization and emotional reception and expression, and progress monitoring these areas. So sometimes people don't, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to open up the floor in a second, but sometimes people do not know, okay, where should my child be? My child is talking to this person and I see them connecting over here, but they don't know every area of socialization and communication, building and maintaining relationships. But they do know that there are some holes. So we can help you to understand that. If that is needed, you can reach out to us. I want to thank you all. Oh, wait, I stopped sharing my screen when there was something else for me to show you. 1 second. Oh, here it is. Our references are here, and this is our QR code. If you guys, you can cut this out. You can't cut it. You can take a picture of it. You can take a picture of this right here. This is our link tree in order to reach us, or you can open up your camera and just hover it over this right here, the QR code, and something is going to pop up and you just touch it. Touch that, and you can get to our forms, our website, and our social medias. We would love, love, love for you to fill out our form regarding understanding autism. We ask how we're doing, and we also ask about future discussions that you would like to see. So please weigh in and express what you would like to see more information on or hear more information on. So I am going to stop sharing. I am going to open the floor up for any questions. Go to security. So you guys can unmute yourself. Does anybody have any questions? Can you unmute yourself? Yes, you can unmute yourself. Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
My question is, how can I encourage a youth with a diagnosis of autism that feels no one will ever like them?
That feels no one will ever like them. So that's going to be, that's going to take some time. You're going to have to work on their self-worth. You're going to have to teach them whether or not they believe it's okay to have some friends and not some friends, and talk to them about their preferences in terms of people. One way, so they might be connected or drawn to people that are more calm versus people that are more loud, and help them to understand that just because they have their preferences, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's the same way. Sometimes people are going to have preferences that are for people that are loud, and sometimes they're going to have preferences for people that are themselves. You want to definitely highlight their the positive qualities about them. Have them to write a list of all their attributes. And if they can't come up with at least 5 to 10 positive qualities about themselves, help them to really dig deep for that. And also affirmations are important as well. Teaching them to speak life into themselves every single day, talking about how amazing they are. Different is okay. Who wants to be the same as everybody else? And also teaching them that no person was created on this earth to be the same exact being as another person and to have the same exact purpose and life as another person. So they are here for a reason. They are here for their specific assignment, their purpose, and the people that will like them, they want to maybe connect with them or maybe not. And the people that don't like them, it's okay. Highlighting that is going to be very beneficial for people on the spectrum as well as teens in general. Are there any more questions? Thank you for your question. Well, if there are no more questions, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Understanding Autism. You guys have a blessed night and come visit us next, excuse me, Mom. Take care.